Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome again to my podcast, Snacks Thoughts. I say again, welcome to my podcast, Snacks Thoughts. And what is my thought on this Friday? Well, guys, my thought on this Friday is the artificial womb, artificial sperm, and men now being able to give birth. So I guess this one I would probably call it this episode, Men Now Able to Give Birth. And for those of you that may not have heard of it, I'm quite sure you're probably curious, like I was. It's like, wait a minute, how is this going to happen? I'd heard about the artificial womb and how they're using it to give birth to babies. And they've also created, obviously, synthetic sperm that they're using in these I guess in these embryos, whatever like that, and they're testing it and creating new life forms. Well, now technology and science has come to the point where they are able to make it where men can have babies naturally. Now they can either do it via natural birth or either by C-section. Now, obviously, I'm quite sure you're probably asking, like, wait a minute, how is this possible? And let me put this disclaimer out here. This is not meant to offend anyone that may be from the LGBTQ community, lesbian, gay, or transgender. And it's not meant at all. I'm just merely giving information, and an update on something that I have learned and putting it out. I'm quite sure people would find it interesting. But obviously, transgender men that were naturally born as a woman, they would be able to easily give birth naturally because they already had, unless they had their uterus and ovaries taken out and had the vagina, changed to make a penis, then they would still have the natural organs to be able to give birth naturally. Now, in the case for actual men that are giving birth, they can do it. Science does it by basically they have to obviously cut open the stomach, and what they do, they put a uterus inside of the male, so scientifically they'll do that, put the uterus inside, which will allow them to hold the baby. Now, from what I understand, I think they use something like some type of they can use the man's seed in their sperm and obviously do it artificially and obviously impregnate the particular seed or embryo, and then they'll have him with the artificial uterus, have it inserted in there and have him as the carrier. And so for a male, I would obviously they're gonna have to, if they don't have unless they've had the changes done where they created a vaginal canal for them to push the baby out through, then they would have to have a C-section, when it's time for them to give birth. I mean, I know this sounds like crazy, like some Star Wars or Star Trek type of stuff, but this is where we're at, and I found it kind of interesting that one of the in one of the articles I read in the episode that I watched the episode on YouTube about this transgender male that gave birth, and the transgender male, which they were naturally born a female, acronym would be AFAB. Those that are naturally born a female, and for those that are naturally born males would be AMAB. But anyway, this transgendered male, which was born a female, married a female, and so this person is the male in a relationship, but the transgendered male was the one that gave birth naturally to a baby, and they did it through artificial insemination. And the transgendered female's partner obviously impregnated them with the inserted the sperm inside of them, through a syringe. Now, here's what I found kind of crazy, and you can't beat God and you can't beat nature. You know, they showed him or her, giving birth, and so she gave birth to the baby. And when the nurse brought the baby to the transgendered female, obviously their partner was there with them, which they called their wife. But obviously, from this is my view as a Christian, I go with what God says, so I'm gonna call them a partner, because God says male and female. And so what happened is that I could see that the transgendered female naturally had a natural love and a certain type of bond for the child that the transgender female's partner, the other female, that she didn't have, even though she, was showing love and happy and showing that she was elated, that the child was born. It seemed kind of artificial. It wasn't the same. It's like, and the lady that was the transgender female, she always resorted to saying my baby, my baby, my baby, ownership, mine, which means that, and because she naturally gave birth, and it was her seed, there's like a certain type of, I guess, a maternal bond that the other female, because it's not her seed and she wasn't the birth carrier, she doesn't have the same type of bond with it, and she was kind of like an outsider. Now, what was also strange that I thought in this relationship is that the other female, she was hoping to give birth herself naturally, but she was in her 30s and she was worried and kind of in a rush to try to hurry up and find a sperm donor and a partner so that she can get pregnant, because she wanted the same experience maternally to be able to give birth to her own offspring, and so this proves that even with science and technology, you cannot replace what God put in order through nature. Women were meant to have children and to be carriers of them, and they share a unique maternal bond with the child. And even if they don't carry it, I would have to believe that 99% of women deep down desire to have children. And you could see that it caused some problems in this relationship, even to the point possible jealousy, because the other one was able, even though they may be LGBTQ, they're still women. Even the one that's taking the hormones to function as a male, she still responded as a woman, as a female, what her true biology was. And she shared the same maternal bond like any other mother would. But the other female, you could tell that there could have been some jealousy, because she wanted that experience of being able to be pregnant and carry a child for 9 months and then give birth to her own offspring, not be an outsider, to offspring that's not hers, but it belonged to her partner. And and it's like, how can I explain it? I guess it seemed, even though I know she was happy, but for her, the bond wasn't the same. It was more external, kind of like she was kind of over exaggerating or acting, to act like she was the other parent, but she's not. It doesn't work that way. Even if you take a man and a woman, and even if they're not married, but they're both the biological parents of the child, that male, even though he didn't carry the baby for 9 months, because that is his seed and his offspring, he's going to share a certain bond and have a different type of love, for the child, because it's his, even though he didn't carry it. And, both parents, even though they may not be together, they still are going to carry a unique bond and have stake in that child, and have a different type of love and a type of a different paternal bond than say an outsider would, or say a step parent, because it's not their seed or offspring. And that is the one thing that that I did notice. And I could look, as I watched her and I observed, I could look, in her eyes, and I can tell that concern that a woman gets when she feels that her biological clock is ticking. Even if she's lesbian, gay, or transgender, deep down, she's still a female. And she had concern, that, hey, I want that experience. I want to know what it's like, to be a mother and to bear a child and to carry a child and go through the process, of childbearing. But I don't know. It's just my take, So it seemed a bit odd, to me, a bit weird to not normal men carrying babies, and even if they do a C-section on them, they have to go through all these different surgeries and procedures, hormonal replacement therapy, all these different complications to try to do something that God did naturally through nature. And so what I find with a lot of these same-sex couples that seek to, one decides to be the other sex that they were not born to be, it's like, well, why didn't you get married to the opposite sex if you're going to do that? If you're going to have, say, two females and one is going to change herself to a man, well, then why wouldn't the other female marry a man? And the same thing for the guys. If you're going through all the hormone replacement therapy, the surgeries to be a female, to be with another guy, but then one decides to go through all these surgeries, hormone replacement therapy to be a woman, well, then why wouldn't the other guy that's supposed to be, that remains, I guess, the heterosexual guy in a relationship or the man in a relationship, why not marry a woman? Because basically the other partner is going through all these surgeries to change themselves to be the opposite sex. And so you're basically trying to be an opposite sex couple in a sense. That's basically what you're trying to do. So why not go and get the real thing? But I mean, hey, this is no knock against LGBTQ. This is just my thoughts, on it, but I look and then there's a lot of psychological complications that come with these type of surgeries, hormone replacement therapies, and even doing things that go against nature. You can tell that these individuals are bothered by their consciences deep down, and they have to have psychological counseling, to be able to deal with this. And obviously some of the parents were disappointed because they was like, well, I birthed you naturally, why can't you be, what you are, where God made you to be, even though they may say they agree with it, but there was still some disappointment, with the mother. She had a disappointed look in her eyes with her son carrying, a baby, and she didn't look too pleased about it, but she kind of played along with it. But anyway, I'm dragging on too long, but I'll put the article in the description, in this podcast, and you can check it out for yourself. But no matter how much human beings through science or technology try to alter what God has made through nature, you can't change it. At the core of our beings, we are still who we are, and we are what God meant for us to be. And this is, like I said, no offense to the LGBTQ community, transgenders, anything like that. I'm saying, everybody, we all have a choice. But deep down in the recesses of our souls and our consciences, we know what it is that God made us, meant for us to be. And you can't change it. Even if you physically go through the surgeries, deep down at the core, you still can't change who and what you are. But anyway, that's all I have on this episode of Snacks Thoughts. And you can find this podcast on Spotify. Anchor has now been merged in with Spotify. So you can find the podcast on Spotify, Spreaker, iHeartRadio, SoundCloud, Radio, PPM, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, and a host of other social media outlets. Also, I have a YouTube channel, Eric Broadus YouTube. So please subscribe to Eric Brothers YouTube and Snack Thoughts. On my YouTube channel, I deal with everything from philosophical topics, how to succeed in the military, and just other topics, as well. So I keep it pretty open and diverse, but the core, I keep my military content going because that's originally what the channel was founded on. But I have a host of other topics on there as well. Yes. And I normally push my podcast episodes up on my YouTube channel as well. So please subscribe to Snacks Thoughts. And also subscribe to my YouTube channel, Eric Brothers YouTube. And lastly, I'm teaching courses on Skillshare, how to succeed in the military, cultural diversity, leadership, and a host of other topics. So I'd love to have you in the class. I'll leave the link in the description. But that's all I have, guys. Thank you for taking the time to listen. Snacks Thoughts, SNAKZTHOUGHTS, Snacks Thoughts. And my YouTube channel, Eric Brothers YouTube. Push it out, share it, guys. Catch you on the next one. Be safe on this weekend, all right, guys? Peace out.